I think I always had a knack for fighting, even as a kid and whatnot. And then I think probably around 10, my dad kind of introduced me to combat sports a little bit. You know, I was wrestling, I was doing a lot of other combat sports at the same time. And then from that point, maybe around 12 or 13, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I just fell in love with it. Just the idea of like being in control of like I've always been into one-person sports for the most part. Not that I'm not a team player, but I like everything being on me. I'm in full control of the wins and losses and everything. And I don't think there's a better a metaphor of like being a winner than fighting. Like purely just physical combat on the highest level. Nothing gives me that satisfaction. So I was like, this is what I want to do. This is the highest level of competition for me. He's the better man. So.
What do you think about that?
I think it's
What is that? What do you have in your hands?
It's pastime. It's a pastime boxing glove. You know, just I feel like it's sweet. It's my life right now in my hands. I feel like, you know. So.
What are the differences you see in that?
With this,
from the glove?
This is like I feel like there's more padding in this than a Reyes glove, you know. First of all, but I think I don't know. I trying to imagine getting punched by one of these things. I don't know. I think it would still hurt. They don't have like they don't have the thumb part. You get poked in the eye. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why the thumb is attached today to the gloves? The modern gloves?
I would assume it's just like a hazard, right? And like getting poked or something, or even grabbing another person. You can physically grab another person with this.
Yeah, you both.
Yeah.
You can't grab, but also, you know, they used to, you know, the poke, and that caused a lot of retina detachments.
Yeah.
So how much of a difference did you feel going in the gloves? I mean, we're talking about the gloves.
Yeah.
Going from the amateurs to the pros when you debuted it. With smaller gloves?
As far as the gloves, yeah. Like, honestly, I never really liked amateur gloves because I feel like a lot of times they won't allow you to fully grip the glove inside, and you'll end up fighting with your kind of wrist at like an edge, and you end up like slapping a lot in the amateurs. I mean, then again, you are just mainly scoring points like that. But, you know, and then you put on a pro glove, and you can really grip, and you can actually feel the knuckles sometimes in the glove, and, you know, depending on the maker model of them. And yeah, that's one of the biggest difference. Like punches hurt also a lot more, you know, in a pro glove, I feel like, than an amateur.
The heavyweights is always like the champion of the world above everybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes we see better fighters in the lower divisions.
Yeah.
Why do you think, or why do the heavyweights deserve that distinction to be the real champion of the whole world? I don't know if you know what I mean.
I know, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like especially during the Tyson era, you know, and a lot of that, the heavyweight division was like insane, you know, and since that point, now you have guys like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder that are just taking names and whatnot. You know, I don't know. To me, in my head, I feel like a good fighter is a good fighter, whether you're a heavyweight or you're a lightweight or whatever weight class you're fighting at. I think that heavyweights are exciting because one punch can change everything. Yeah. You know, you could be, you know, winning the entire fight, you know, one shot in the 12th round. You know, you're out, you know. Yeah. But I don't know. I think they're an exciting fight's an exciting fight. You saw like the last Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight, and that was debatably the greatest heavyweight fight I've ever seen personally in my lifetime ever. And I don't know. Like I think a good fight's a good fight. So, but I think boxing just evolves, you know, over time. I feel like every there's so many like iconic fighter in each decade of time, and I think from like people just took pieces of different styles over time and kind of applied them to their own. And so I think the sport has just evolved. And then you're totally right. I think heavyweights are moving different. I think in the early 2000s or so, like most heavyweights that could be in boxing were in the NFL, you know, playing football, you know, and since then training has evolved, all these things have evolved. Also, you're fighting guys from different places around the world as well, like, you know, Cuba, Russia, and France, you know, and these guys are, you know, it's more of a worldwide sport, so there's different trainings in different areas around the world, so we're just seeing a different look now, you know, so I think that's really, I'd be part of it.
Are you a brawler? Are you a fighter? How do you define your style?
I'd say boxer, puncher. I have no problem working off my back foot, moving around the ring, being agile, making a person miss, and then countering them back. But I like to hunt in there. I'm in there just like, nobody gets paid overtime in this sport, so the faster you can get your opponent out of there, you know, it's more exciting, it's more fun. I'm not in there to look good or anything. If I do look good doing it, then that's a perk, I guess. But no, I would say I'll stand there with you. I'll brawl with you. I'll box with you. We can do whatever. But at the end of the day, I want to be the one that dictates those exchanges. So that's where I'm at.
Your turn.
Can we go back to when you were a kid? Tell us about
Yeah.
your first amateur fight, your first time in the ring.
My first amateur fight, I knocked him down in 5 seconds.
5 seconds?
5 seconds. I knocked him down in 5 seconds, and then I knocked him out in the second round. There's actually a funny video of it. I think I was probably 13 years old or so, and I just walked out there, threw like a 1-2, 3-2, and he just dropped. And I was like, man, I like this. It's like, this feels good, you know. I was super nervous, as anybody in their first amateur fight would be. But you kind of get past that over a certain period of time, and I just didn't really know what to expect. Because you watch fights all the time, you sparred a lot, but as most people know, it's very different getting in there.
Right.
One of the biggest things for me was the depth perception, because usually when you're sparring, you know, you're in like a room or something, you know, you're in a gym, and you can see walls around you. But when you're fighting in an open space, like the crowd is kind of your depth, right? And the outside usually kind of keeps going. You're usually fighting in a bigger place, and so when you're in the ring and the guy's standing in front of you, it's hard to sometimes tell compared to just sparring in a room, like how far your distance is from them. And so that was a really big thing for me. It's the same thing as it's easier to hit a 3-point shot in basketball when you're in like a gymnasium compared to an arena, because just, you know, the distance, it's harder to see sometimes. But I remember just thinking about that a lot. After my first fight, I was like, oh, it's just weird.
Do you have time to think in there?
No, but that's like the point. I think that's the best part. Like, you're relying on every instinct of your training at that point. Since there is no time to think, it's all reaction. So all your training that has led up to that fight moment, that's you can almost sense. You're just trusting your senses a lot at that point. And maybe you're seeing stuff without even realizing it. It's just, yeah. I would say a little bit of both. I feel like your body's moving fast, but your mind's moving slow. It's like the muscle memory of the repetition that you've trained. You throw a right hand, you move right. You know, you slip right. You throw an uppercut, you go under. Like, all of those repetitions just kind of happen naturally. And when you hurt a person, like, my mind goes black. I'm not thinking at all. I'm just like, hurt guy, just smell blood in the water and just go, and just, you know, try to get him out of there.
Have you been hurt, whether amateur or pro, with a hard punch?
Yeah, as an amateur, I dislocated my jaw in the middle of a match, and I popped it back into place, and then I finished the fight. That hurt for sure. But I think it was my third pro fight. I blew out my eardrum in the first round. I just got caught with a shot I shouldn't have been caught with, and the leather kind of suction cup with the sweat on my ear, and it kind of just popped, and I just remember hearing a ringing, and I could blow air out of my ear. And it was kind of just a weird feeling more than anything. But besides that, I haven't been.
How did that
hurt
fight end up?
I knocked him out in the next round.
So how do you do it? How do you ignore the pain, ignore the ringing, and just keep going?
I wish there was an instruction book on that, and just, you know, how to really explain how to do it. I think it's just the will to just keep going.
The instinct, you said?
The instinct, yeah. You just bite down. You know, it's like I'm either gonna quit, or I'm gonna just figure out a way to just take another step or throw another punch. And I've always just thrown another punch.
Yeah,
So.
instinct goes hand in hand with the last thing we were talking about. And you know, us that are outside of the ring, we just see a couple of guys, you know, just throwing punches and going. But people don't think that boxing is a sport also of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You as a boxer inside the ring, you need to be intelligent, right?
You have to. That's why I see like a lot of this new training nowadays, like guys playing chess, because your mind needs to be just as strong as your body physically. Like I would say, like to me, I think boxing is like 20% physical and then 80% mental a lot of the times. I mean, the 20% is just as hard, but a lot of the times you're your worst enemy in there. You know, your mind's gonna quit before your body does always. And your body doesn't know its own limitations ever. And I'm kind of a big advocate on that. And sometimes you'll psych yourself out with like opponents or this and that. You see it all the time, like fighters that just beat themselves. And for me personally, I refuse to be, you know, a victim of that thing. You know, I will like build my mind as like a wall and like a fortitude. Like I have to do this. I have to win this. No matter what it takes.
What gives you that hunger that you have? What motivates you?
I mean, I think a lot of things motivate me, and I think motivation changes over time in life. I would say as a kid, my motivation was I was trying to find my purpose with like life and trying to find a place where I could belong, and what really I felt like I was always different than other kids. And that was my motivation for a while. And at this point in my life, I would say myself. Like I feel like I'm becoming into the person that I want to be, and I want to know how good I can be. And I think my biggest fear is not ever knowing that. And so in the time that I have here right now, I just got to give it everything I have. Because I don't want to be that guy just wondering how good I could have been at something if I just gave it a little bit more. So this is my life right now, and it won't always be that way. But in the period of time I do have, that's my thing.
And how much emotions play in a fight? If you're depressed, if you're excited, if you're you know, emotions.
Emotions, yeah, the things you feel.
Anger. How much do they weigh into your performance in the ring?
Well, I think it's always important. You know, you hear it in boxing all the time. It's, you know, don't get emotional in there. You know, focus on the game plan and stick to the game plan. You know, don't get angry. Don't be overconfident. You know, there's so many things that can go into that. I think I follow that in training to a certain T. I think about like 90% of my training, I'm like just strictly just, you know, I'm in there for me. I'm here to learn. I'm here to like just get better and everything. But on a day, some days you just need to dig something out of the gutter for yourself and be like, man, they said that about me that one time. You know, one morning when it's like just pouring rain outside and you got to go run, and everything your body just doesn't want to. You gotta find something sometimes. Just be like, I'm gonna show them. You know, I'm gonna just yeah, like yeah, just, you know, and I think that's okay. I think it's okay because we have emotions for a reason, and emotions a lot of times can be motivators. I think true focus kind of lies between anger and serenity, and that will bring you focus. Not that those are the best emotions ever, but I think I find peace in that sometimes.
Yeah.
How are you preparing for all this? For the Munguia, for the Elijah Garcias, for the Charlo?
Yeah. How am I preparing? I feel like I've just envisioned it in my head so many times before. By the time I get there, it won't be anything new. I won't be surprised. You know, you hear all these like greats like Muhammad Ali talk about like, I said it before I was, you know, and I think in my head I played that in my head so many times, like what I'm gonna do when I'm on that stage, and I'm almost like to a certain extent manifesting that into my own life. Day by day, I'm making a step closer towards that. So I guess I'll see when I get there, but I don't think it'll be anything new. I've been there before in my head, so.
It'll just be a replay.
Yeah, it'll just be a replay at that point.
Have you ever envisioned yourself with that belt behind you?
Every day. Every day. Ever since I was a kid, hitting a bag in a basement. It's just, I've dreamed about it. You know, I think about it literally every single day. And the day I stopped thinking about it is the day that I probably should, you know, check up on myself. You know, because I mean, if I'm not in this to be average. I'm not in this to just do it. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna dedicate days, hours, years of my life to something. I might as well just be the best at it. And I think for me, that's like my one goal. I at one point, I just want to say I was the best in the world at something.
Yeah. Did you were you born here, or did you move from somewhere to be here training?
So I was born in Texas, but I was raised in Kansas City. That's where I spent the majority of my childhood, and there's actually a really big amateur boxing program out of there. I was part of the 2017 National Golden Glove Championship team, and you know, like there's a lot of great fighters out of there, and so I got a lot of good amateur experience. I was grateful enough to have a coach, and well blessed enough to have a coach that would take us to all the, you know, USA qualifiers and Golden Gloves and fighting in smokers every other weekend. So it was great, you know. I just got a lot of experience out of that. But I think as far as going professional, you know, you got to go to the major cities, you know, the New Yorks, the LA, the Vegas, Florida, Miami. Those areas, if you really want to get noticed, and you weren't part of like the top 3 amateurs in the country at the time, they got signed right away or so. So I think I was like, you know, I'm going to do it. Might as well do it right. So I came out to California in 2020 and went pro.
There's big sacrifices in boxing,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those sacrifices is just leaving the family, and you know, moving to where you're gonna get better, where you may become champion. When
Out of your comfort zone.
Out of the comfort zone. So you know,
Yeah.
how much of a sacrifice is boxing for you?
For me,
In every sense
yeah.
of the word.
I was in school. I was going to the University of Kansas. I was a freshman. And I just wasn't happy. I was competing in the USA qualifiers and everything, and I took some time off actually after those, and maybe 5 months or so, and just really soul searching for myself. And I was like, you know, kind of what I was saying earlier is like, I don't want to ever not know something. And so I turned 20 years old, and I was like, hey, you know, Mom, this is what I'm gonna do. And I think everybody was just kind of like, what? Are you actually gonna do this? And my friends, everybody is just kind of telling me I'm an idiot for doing this, for doing that. There was really, besides my dad and like my own family, I kind of just got left hanging by everybody. And one morning, I just packed up my stuff, and just, you know, came to LA and then got into it. You know, eventually got noticed by Justin Fortune, and he's the one that originally took me professional. He was one of Manny Pacquiao's coaches, and yeah. But no, leaving everything is one of the hardest things ever. You know, I had never really seen anything outside of Kansas, and I'm moving to this new city by myself. Don't have any friends out here. Didn't know one person. And so like I said earlier, I think I manifested this, you know, and I've made it happen. I built this from like a raw foundation. Like I didn't get just any handout or anybody did anything for me from the beginning to get myself to this point. And I don't know. There's a level of like proudness for myself for doing that. And yeah, but it's never an easy thing to like leave everything, you know. So.
Yeah. I mean, in this manifestation process, before the fights, I don't know if you like envision how it's gonna go, how it's gonna evolve, what's gonna happen. I don't know if you sort of think or make a mental script, like as if it was a movie or something.
I think.
I know every boxer always thinks of winning.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you think on how to get there, how to, you know, since the first bell till you get your hand right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's You mean in the fight, in a sense? In the fight? Well, I mean, I'll watch a fighter and I'll start playing things through my head. I'll take time out of my day actually just to lay on the ground or something and just play some scenarios over in my head. And I think for me personally, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, I'm always thinking. My mind is like a ticking bomb always. And sometimes it sucks. But when it comes to boxing and just being prepared for everything, it's quite beneficial for me. I think about what I'm going to do if I take a hard body shot, how I'm going to react. Like, where's my mind going to go? I think about, what if I hurt him? I'll play 10 different scenarios of how the fight goes down in my head. Everything he's going to bring, his things he's good at, things he's bad at. And then at that point, it's like, okay, well, I'll usually make 5 points on a list on my phone. I'd be like, okay, so this is 5 ways I can do this, and 5 things I need to focus on. And then just go do it. But never in any category do I sit down, close my eyes, and I think about myself losing. I never. And that's not even because I don't want to. It's just my mind does not process losing in that way. I have to win.
There's no what if.
No, there's no what if. Like, it's like, if I got caught with the shot, how am I getting up? Like, that's where immediately my mind goes. I can't think about losing. It's just not part of my brain wired code, so yeah.
Yeah, and very few people are aware that when you're doing what you were born to do, what is your passion, that is when the real you is present. Because in real life, you have to pay the rent, you have to eat, you have to do a lot of things, but when you're hitting the bag, when you're sparring, when you're the speed bag or the heavy bag, just your head clears, and that's when you get your best ideas, your best thoughts. Does that happen to you?
No, when I'm hitting a bag, when I'm training, when I'm sparring, I'm in heaven. That's my place. I think very few people in their life will ever experience a moment where they're so locked into like one thing and they're in that state of flow and they're so focused. I think it's grateful that I had that opportunity. In sparring, when the guy's standing in front of you trying to punch you in the face, you're not thinking about 5 seconds ahead and you're not thinking about 5 seconds before. You're reacting in that moment. You're so present and conscious of everything that's going around you, and that's heaven. That's like euphoria for me. So I don't know. That's my place. That's where I feel most myself, like you said. There's nothing that equates to that feeling. So even warming up, getting ready for a fight, my mind a lot of times goes black. I'd say most people around me when I'm not training and stuff would consider me like pretty low key, mellow, just relaxed and whatnot. But when I lace up gloves, I don't know what happens to me. I think it's like just something inside just comes out, and I'm just purely in my purest form.
Yeah.
You've had really explosive knockouts. You're setting a high standard for yourself. There's gonna be times, Eric, where you will go the 8 rounds, you will go the 10 rounds, you will go 10, 12 rounds or whatever, not 15 anymore. Are you prepared to handle that mentally, where you can't deliver to the audience what they're already used to getting from you?
Yeah, I think as cool as knockouts are, I think it's like they're overrated. I think it would be more satisfying just to beat a person to the pulp for every single minute of every single second of an entire fight. Yeah, and I honestly, a lot of these knockouts, they come on accident. I don't mean to. I'm never going out there being like, I want to knock this guy out in the first round. Most of my coaches, friends, people that I talk to about the upcoming fights and whatnot, they'll be like, yeah, Eric, you told me it was going to go like maybe a few rounds or something, and then they fell on their face in the first round. That's purely on accident. If a knockout happens, it's usually on accident. In my mind, in preparation, I'm always preparing to go for the entire distance. I'm always, when I'm running on the treadmill, I'm always thinking of when I'm super tired, I'm thinking about getting out of the stool for the last round. And so in my mind, I'm usually, I'm usually just as shocked as everybody else if somebody just drops. Because I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, I was kind of pacing for the entire fight to go. But
for those few seconds, is it an amazing feeling?
after knocking somebody out, yeah, it feels really nice. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really nice. Anybody that says, oh, they're like, I went out there with a pure duty in my head, like just for like that period of the time, I'm gonna be a bad guy. I'm gonna really hurt somebody, and I'm not a bad guy. This is purely competition, and like that's like I've made a decision. I'm going to be the meanest person I can be for those minutes, and I went out there and did it, and I'm like, wow. Now we can smile. Now we have something to smile about.
Yeah.
You
Oscar De La Hoya said that he described the knockout punch like you don't feel it, but it's something that rushes from your fist to your heart.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's this emotion that fills you.
Yeah.
When you get that knockout punch.
That's probably the best way to put it. Your heart, mind, and soul is in every punch you throw, and the one that lands like that, it's just worth it. Everything that you've done up to that point, every morning run, every meal that you like couldn't eat, every sacrifice. It's like I feel like that's just what life's about. Is what doing whatever gives you that feeling.
So, in your pro career right now, what's your record?
I'm 9-0 with 7
9-0.
knockouts.
So, as you can see, boxing is a difficult sport. It's not as easy as some people can think. What has been some of the challenges that you faced as a professional boxer?
Some challenges. I would say my challenges have more been mental than not. Like we were talking about earlier, some of the sacrifices that have been made to, make this happen for myself. I think every day you're getting up and it's hard on a bad day, you get really discouraged with yourself. But one thing I always told myself is that, if I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna quit tomorrow, but I'm gonna show up for practice. So if I have a bad day, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, I'm gonna get up tomorrow, I'm gonna go to practice, and I'm gonna do it again. And then, hey, the next day, usually I'm having a better day, so I'm like, I'll just keep going, So that's my mentality with it. Obviously, I wouldn't quit, but it's, I don't know, like, it's a hard sport. Getting in there and fighting another person is one of the most uncomfortable things naturally as a human like you can do. Every emotion is bottled up. It's hard, and besides just the physical aspect of it, physically, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. So I don't think there hasn't been many like things besides maybe an injury here or there that has really been difficult for me. But getting through injuries is mental sometimes too. But I don't know. I love this. I really do.
What happens when you have to fight a friend?
Fight a friend? A
friend, yeah.
We'll be friends afterwards. And that's how it is. It's let the best man win. Fortunately I have not had to do that yet, but it will happen one of these days, and when it does, I'll give him a call and I'll say, I'll buy you a drink afterwards. And then we're gonna stand there, but in those minutes that we are gonna go, I'm gonna crack you as hard as I can, as many times as I can. It's competition. This is not personal. This is sport for me.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm not street fighting, my friend. I'm trying to just be a better boxer than them. So.
Your mom is Korean.
Yes.
Your dad is
American, from America, yeah.
Is it big in Korea, boxing?
There's some gyms and whatnot. Not anywhere near to like America or Mexico or Russia or something like that. But that's honestly cool for me. I think to be able to represent like a part of my culture in the ring. There's like you look around even in the sport nowadays. There's not very many Asian boxers out there. in general, especially Korean, to say the least, and that's cool for me. That gives me an advantage. Also, it's something to fight for. And if I have a gift and an opportunity to be able to present my culture on that type of stage, like, I'm gonna do it for sure, and I want to be the best at it. And so that's I would say it's pretty cool for me.
And training in a gym where you see so many big fighters, famous fighters, so many champions, does that motivate you? Does that influence you for the better?
Yeah, oh, for sure. You know, it's like playing basketball and being in the gym with LeBron James. I think it's cool. You know, walking in the gym. You know, I've seen Beebles run Churchill boxing under the head coach at Pedro Neme. It's like you're surrounded by great fighters. There's like big guys that come in all the time. As LA is a boxing hotspot, and Churchill is, you know, one of the bigger gyms out there. It's cool. I don't really get starstruck, to be honest with you. I'm more thinking, I'm like, how would we square up? Kind of like, if we did, you know, hypothetically, you know, with all respect, like, because I mean, really, like, I don't, if I put these guys mentally on a pedestal, then I'll never be able to view myself up there with them, if that makes sense. But it's all out of respect. It's a respect to them. You know, they were obviously extremely accomplished with their accolades in boxing and whatnot. But I kind of see that for myself at the same time. So.
As a kid, who did you look up to as far as fighters?
That's hard. I studied a lot of different styles and just like watching boxing. I like Tyson. I like Tyson a lot. I like Manny Pacquiao a lot. The power punching of Tyson and the speed of Manny. And he would just jump on you and would throw a 20-punch combination at your face. And, you know, his footwork, his legs. Then Tyson at the same time, he was a ticking time bomb, you know, and he's just an animal in there. And a lot of the stuff that he said, you know, about himself and the way he feels getting in the ring, to me personally, he's the only person I've been able to relate to on a lot of that. I feel so much. I don't even know how to describe it. So much everything, like when I'm getting in the ring and fighting somebody, and it's not the happiest version of myself, but it's like the purest version of myself sometimes. Everything that I'm not able to express when I'm not fighting, I feel when I'm fighting. And so Mike, listening to him, we were even talking earlier about Mike. That's why I like listening to him talk about his old fighting days and stuff, because I'm like, wow, that's exactly how I feel sometimes.
Yeah. So how do you envision yourself when you're retiring from boxing?
When I'm retiring, I got a bunch of rust on me from the glove.
How many belts are you gonna have? Tell us a story.
Well, I gotta win the first one first, you know. But I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to put my name in the history books. And however I do that, that's how I'm gonna do it. I think one day at a time, one step at a time. First goal, world title, and then we'll go from there. Because I think I'm always pushing myself to the next one and like trying to keep going. So I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I feel like I'm chasing perfection, and perfection is just not a real thing. But I guess I'm always gonna be chasing it, and everything else that comes will come with that. That makes sense.
Completely.
So
winning is a monument. Winning isn't pretty. Winning is ugly.
Yeah.
Winning is sacrifice. It hurts you know, and then I'll fall for that little moment, and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And that's like one of the things about boxing. It's like I don't know. Like boxing is just, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything, you know, and it's just hard. It's hard, you know, but that's winning. That's what winning takes.
Right.
So, my question is, are you willing to do it or not? You know.
Yeah. How long you want to get punched in the face?
Or just hit other people, you know, and just move your head, right. You know.
You'd bet on yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. I don't think I'd ever go into a fight being like, oh, I might lose. I don't think anybody that actually wants to win like goes into a fight thinking there's a possibility of them losing. Like I said earlier, I don't process losing very well, and also if that day ever came, like I don't know, I just think about losing like and stuff when I was a kid. It was so hard for my mind to comprehend losing. I mean, I hate losing more than I love winning. And that's probably the best way for me to put it. Right. So this is not an option.
How important is every team member that you have around you?
So important. Yeah, I'm just beyond blessed to have a great team. And all from coaches to my manager Bashir. It's I don't know, like you are who you surround yourself with, and fortunately I've surrounded myself and chosen to surround myself with great people. And that want the best for me, and will be right by me and help me get to the place where I want to be. It's cool because we all have the same goal, and it's just win the big one. Eventually. So every day
it's hard
doing that.
You got here not knowing any of these people.
Yeah, and I've truly built something for myself that I think is really special, and it's really important to me, and I fully intend on keeping that ship intact until we reach the destination.
Not only at the time of the fight, but in general, maybe during training camp. Do you feel boxing is a lonely sport?
Yes, the loneliest sport in the world, easily. Yeah, for me personally, like with the whole sacrifice thing and like leaving everybody, I've had fallen friendships, I've had fallen relationships. It's just like all that kind of stuff because I'm so focused on my training. I don't have time to do other things, and you miss out on fun things in life, like quote unquote fun things that are going on, and holidays, all that kind of stuff, just to get in there and do what you do. And a lot of people won't ever see that, but this is like I said, I chose this life. But yeah, it is it's sometimes lonely, yeah. Because like you said, your team leaves you, everybody gets out of the ring, when the bell rings and it's just you in there. I don't think I'd prefer it any other way in that scenario. I fully plan on taking all my wins by myself, but yeah, I would say more in the preparation part of it. Just giving up so much just to do something, and most people wouldn't even recognize it, but I don't really do it for anybody else but myself at that point. Right. And I'm totally willing to do it. So yeah, I haven't been home for Thanksgiving in 3.5 years. I missed Christmas and New Year's this year. I missed my birthday this year. Nobody will really ever understand that side of things, and I don't know.
Is it worth it?
Every second. Don't get me wrong, I'm usually miserable in those moments, but shoot, it's more memorable to me personally than any of those things. I don't get me wrong, I love my family, and I'd love to see them, but man, if it builds character, I don't know. I wouldn't go back and do it again if I could, So there will be a time where I won't have boxing, and I'll be able to go see my family, for Christmas and Thanksgiving. But right now, everybody around me's got to understand, this is what I do. So we'll reunite when we reunite. That's why I'm single. So.
Hear that, ladies?
No. But yeah, it's time. I gotta bite down right now and get it down because it's up to me. Nobody's gonna do it for me. So.
You make weight comfortably? Yes.
Yeah. Usually. Usually. Yeah, usually. I lose some pounds for sure. Yeah. I lose some pounds, and it sucks. I've been losing weight for a long time though. I wrestled and did jiu-jitsu and a lot of stuff growing up. So I was always competing in these tournaments for like 3 days straight, or even boxing too. You know, so I got really used to cutting weight and making weight. But as a pro, you usually cut more weight because like you're not fighting 4 times in 1 week. You know.
Right.
So kind of you allow yourself to cut some more weight, but it might be the most miserable thing on the planet. It also gives me an appreciation for food that I would not normally have. You know, you ever eat a good meal, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it hits different, literally. But nah, it's like, that's like what I'm talking about, like the sacrifice and stuff. Like if on weigh-in day, if like somebody else could just hop in my body for 5 minutes and feel like how miserable I am just to make some weight, like they would have a totally different appreciation for the sport, you know? Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, you really feel like this and you're gonna go fight tomorrow. Yeah. Like it's it's not for everybody, that's for sure.
When you're fighting, do you hear the audience, or you just focused, or some things just you could hear them and it bothers you?
I hear my coach. I think I've like trained my mind to recognize that voice. So when he speaks, I usually hear him. That's it. That's it. Besides that, I don't hear anything. Sometimes I'll like watch a fight back, and like the whole crowd will be like chanting like air, and I'm like, they were. Like I have no like I said, my mind usually goes pretty dark when I'm in there. It's just reaction and trust and instinct at that point.
On the biggest fight of your life, have you ever like, this is the arena I want? You know, this is where I want to fight. The Showtime, the Zone, whatever. Have you put all that together, ever?
No. Honestly, I mean, I want to sell out a pay-per-view stadium for sure. I don't know. I think about like having like my friends back in like the back room and stuff like that when warming up. I think Madison Square Garden would be pretty cool. Yeah. You know, I feel like that's just like one of the meccas of boxing, right, along with MGM. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just for me, it doesn't really matter. I just want that thing. Like I don't care where it is. I'll fight you in your backyard for that. Yeah. But pretty much that.
Do you have a boxing name?
I don't.
You don't, right?
I don't.
You should have one right now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if anybody.
Where does that come from? I mean, the guys at the gym. You know, is that where most boxing names are?
Yeah, usually I don't know if you want to hear the boxing names they give me on this interview, but yeah, I mean, as far as nicknames and stuff, I don't have one. I've just been rocking with Eric Priest. You know, it's like, you know.
Do you have like what would you like to be named? Like, you know, I would like to be called I don't know.
That's breaking the rules. I can't give myself a nickname. You know. I can only approve the one somebody else gives me. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, just swing them my way. Feel free. I'll throw them on my shorts if I like them.
We talked about it earlier, but break down Benavides' plan for us.
That's a good fight. Like we were saying earlier, I think it's a 50-50 matchup. I don't know if I can just be like, if I like Caleb Plant. I really do. I like his persona. I like the way he handles himself. Benavides is just mean. You know, he truly is the Mexican monster. I think his size might overpower Caleb as they go into later rounds. But Caleb's no joke at the same time. You know, his power is very underrated. I would say Benavides. You know, but yeah, I don't know. That's just a hard one.
Will you say it this week? Tank versus Garcia.
I have Tank with that. More, not just because I like Tank a lot. I think Ryan's actually cool too. You know, I think they're both super marketable fighters, but I just have a hard time seeing anybody get past Tank's power. He's so hard to hit, And Ryan's super fast. Ryan's extremely talented. I think boxing has deemed him for quite a while, or just like public, as like a Instagram boxer kind of guy. When honestly, I think he's a good fighter. You know, I think he's real. Kid can fight.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad to see that he's getting his respect for that now. But Gervonta, it's just like, as somebody who knows boxing, I watch the way his head moves and the angles he takes with his feet and how his body naturally acts to like slipping and countering, and like just the kinetic force from his feet to his hands and the way he's able to generate power. I have a really hard time seeing somebody get past that. No matter how fast you are, like Gervonta can time you. You look at him when Rolly, Lito Santa Cruz, you know, he just figures you out. Like, you may be doing something for a few rounds, or he might be respecting your power to a certain degree, but he'll time you, you know, and timing beats speed.
Tim Tszyu, say my name. He says, say my name. And Charlo, who wins? Did you watch it, Tim Tszyu?
I did watch the fight, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually sparred with Tim a while back,
Oh, really?
before I even went pro.
Okay, so then you could tell us.
He can hit hard. He can move well. He definitely can crack. I think Charlo might be a little. If Tim boxes Charlo, like we even saw like Charlo struggle with like Harrison, Tony Harrison, right? Yeah. Before when he lost, right? I think Tim might be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he boxes with him. Mm-hmm. Tim's got a really good jab. He can keep his distance really well. Yeah. It's one thing I even from like sparring him a long time ago was really frustrated with.
Yeah.
You know, he's really good at keeping his distance. But Charlo at the same time, if he catches you, like it's night usually. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. To me, that's harder for that one.
So you're like 50-50?
Yeah, for me, like that's harder than like a Benavidez Plant or a Gervonta Ryan.
Yeah. Tyson Fury and Usyk, even though I feel it's gonna be against Andy Ruiz, but let's do Tyson Fury and Usyk. Tyson,
yeah. I mean, Usyk beat Anthony Joshua because I think Anthony was just stiff that fight. His footwork wasn't as good as Usyk, and Usyk would just dance circles around you, use angles, and keep cracking. But I would say Tyson. Tyson beats Usyk just based on size.
But have you seen the difference of the fighter's physique in the era of Chavez, Oscar even, to now, where the fighters are like you could see every muscle? Like I feel like muscle weighs you down.
I don't know. I think training in general has like evolved, like science-wise, to build these fighters' physiques. I feel like back in Chavez's day, like first of all, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But it was like fighters just hit the bag, do sit-ups, run a lot, It's just old school, just brutal kind of stuff. But now we have like elevation training, we have heart monitors, we have so much technology that goes into boxing now, like even supplements, like legal supplements, that do help recovery, or this and that, or nutrition science. Everything goes into it. I feel like that might be why physique has changed, and heavyweights are bigger than before, and I don't know.
So what's next for you?
I'm going to be fighting late April in New York City. So right now we're just getting ready for that and finalizing up some details that should be done pretty soon. But yeah, so right now we're just preparing. Had a little setback in January, but now we're full throttle, ready to go, ready to do it again, hit 10-0. Well, if action's what they want, they'll get it, especially with me. I'm not going to be a boring fighter. I just refuse to. So if that's what they're looking for, like I'll show them action. I'll show them fun. So yeah, I'm ready for whatever. Ready for whatever. I'm here.
So you're gonna be fighting in New York. Recently, you were there training at Mendes Boxing. How did you feel training?
Oh no, they're awesome. So it kind of when I'm in New York and finishing up my training and doing some training out there, I will be spending my time at Mendez. They kind of given me a home away from home in a sense, like a second gym. So that's it's cool because it also gives me an opportunity to connect with the New York community out there when otherwise I wouldn't be able to. So I really appreciate them for doing that for me and allowing me to do that. So
last year you went with us to the Greenbelt Challenge. Thank you for going. Hopefully you can come again this year in June.
I'll be there.
How did it feel, seeing all those kids doing what you did as a kid?
It's like, that's cool, to take away all of like the other things and the stuff that distracts you from boxing, and put it in the most like pure form of like just competition with kids and whatnot. It's kind of a beautiful thing. Sometimes you remember like why you do it. You kids will learn a lot more about themselves in the ring and doing something like boxing than a lot of other sports or a lot of other things that they could be doing. And so I think it was really cool to kind of be a part of that a little bit. And it's everybody out there that supports me, and I can't thank you enough. Like I don't want to say I couldn't do it without you, but you guys help a lot. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully in my career I continue to make more of you and make the ones that have been following me proud. So that's fully my intention, and stay tuned for the next fight. Really hard. I'm so bad at this, like predicting fights. I thought Jake Paul was gonna knock out Tommy Fury.